Now, back to Coastal Living on KZTV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Coastal Living. Now, the holidays right around the corner. We got Thanksgiving coming up, and we're talking about pie with Christian Bernard. He's our pie aficionado, here to tell us maybe we can get creative. Maybe there's some basics that we need to know if we're thinking about getting crafty and cooking one ourselves. So thanks for joining us.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Tell us what you got to tell us about pie.
Well, I mean, obviously there's sky's the limit when it comes to pie. You can make so many different kinds of flavors. We brought a few just to show here. We got chocolate meringue, apple pie, pumpkin pie, cherry pie. But this one is a unique little fun thing that you can do for something to talk about at your holiday party. It's a clear pumpkin pie.
How does that work?
Yes, it looks amazing though.
It does.
Yeah,
Can you
it's
guys
a lot
see
of-
this? Let me see.
It's a lot of fun.
Check that out.
It's clear.
If you happen to have a $1,000 rotary diffuser in your kitchen, you could
keep
you could
one of
make the
those
original
handy.
version, you know, where you
Sure.
distill the mixture but you can also just get a pumpkin pie extract and mix it with some clear gelatin.
Wow.
Interesting.
And get a clear
Tastes
pumpkin
just like
pie.
pumpkin pie.
Yep.
Very
sure
cool.
Does.
And how long have you been baking, cooking?
Oh gosh, my whole life.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it something you grew up being really passionate about?
Both my grandmothers like to spend some time in the kitchen. My one grandmother had a restaurant, and
Awesome.
so yeah, I kind of just got right into it at a young age, and so.
So if they had that show back then with the little kids that are baking, you would have been a
I
champion
probably
on
would have
there.
been. I know there's like my mom likes to tell a story about me destroying the kitchen, making waffles and stuff when I was 12 years old. So
Back when it wasn't such a big deal to do that, I feel like now you're like, don't touch that.
Yeah.
No, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to clean that up later. And so all of this looks really delicious. I'm assuming you made all of this, but what is one of your favorites? Do you have like a specialty?
actually, yeah, I do chocolate cream pie. You
Yeah?
know, and I think I grew
Ooh,
up
that
on.
sounds very good.
Actually, that's a chocolate meringue,
The
so it's
chocolate
similar.
meringue. Okay.
But I prefer whipped cream topping, but the meringue seems to be more popular. But amongst
So,
the pop-
and I have to ask, how did you come up with this, the clear pumpkin
well,
pie?
I didn't come up with it. It's kind of a thing that
I
a
have
restaurant
never-
in Chicago came up with. And like I
Ah.
said, they have like actual chemistry equipment in their kitchen, and they do a lot of crazy stuff. So they're the ones that originally come up with the idea. But you know, like I said, it's something that anybody can make at home with any kind of extract. You know, and some clear gelatin. You can have some fun and something to talk about at your party.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so some people like myself feel really comfortable cooking and experimenting with spices and dinner, but not necessarily the dessert part.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for somebody who wants to chance it and try to make something themselves this year?
Well, I was going to talk about the chocolate cream pie because that's my favorite.
Okay.
And I think I grew up on what most people probably have is the one that's made from the Jell-O pudding.
Yep.
And but if you want to get a little adventurous, get yourself some really good quality cocoa powder, a good Belgian, you know, a dark one, and make yourself a homemade custard. And you'll be in for a real treat because it's just such a world of a difference to make it that way.
You make it sound so easy. You're like, oh, just
It's not
grab
that
a
bad. It's really
custard.
not.
It's a real treat. And so what are some basics for someone like me who is completely oblivious?
Yeah, so with the crust, really cold butter is very important, very, very cold butter, and ice water. I usually make ice water and strain it off right before I use it. And the idea is by keeping the butter cold, that's what creates your flaky pockets, you know, once you bake the crust. So yeah, cold butter, cold water for your crust. You know, I just try to use the best ingredients always.
Nice.
So what do you recommend for people that don't have any experience making pies? What pie is probably the easiest to you?
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin?
Yeah,
Okay.
pumpkin pie is definitely pretty easy.
Is
All
that
right.
basically just like crust and then you can cheat and just buy the cans of the pumpkin mix?
Well, yeah, even I think the cans of the pumpkin mix, if you don't want to use an actual fresh pumpkin, you still have to add some other ingredients. But, you know, most of the cans, I think, have it right on the side. You know, some
Nice.
evaporated milk, some eggs, some spices.
Okay, awesome. And then before we go, real quick, what about the crust? You mentioned the cold butter and using the ice, which I would have failed right there. Pie fail. Anything else for them to take into consideration when they're following a recipe? Any tricks of the trade?
I guess, you know, I think sometimes what I see with cooking times that sometimes they don't seem like they're done, and so you let it go longer, and you can end up overdoing it. Especially like pecan pie, you know, the cake and pumpkin pie. When you take them out of the oven, they're still kind of jiggly, and you kind of want that. You know, if you let it set up completely in the oven, it's going to end up overdoing it.
I mean, I burnt it on purpose. Don't you like crispy pumpkin pie? That's just like our pizza. Well, thank you so much for enlightening
having
us today. We learned a lot. We look forward to having you back and learning more about dessert, because don't we just love it?
Oh, yes, we do.
And we're not done talking about food because it's officially tamales season, and what better way to celebrate than with the whole festival celebrating tamales. We have more on that when we come back.